After months of close coordination against Iran, signs of strain are emerging as US and Israel appear increasingly divided over how the conflict should end. Reports suggest Netanyahu was surprised by Trump's public optimism about an Iran deal, highlighting growing differences over the diplomatic track. Even as the US signals a push toward negotiations, Israeli leaders remain wary of easing pressure on Tehran before key security concerns are addressed. Trump's determination to secure a deal with Iran is increasingly testing the traditionally strong US-Israel partnership as both sides debate the path forward. Reports suggest Benjamin Netanyahu was not informed in advance before President Trump publicly signaled a possible breakthrough with Iran. The sudden shift from military pressure to diplomacy reportedly surprised senior Israeli officials monitoring the conflict. According to reports, the Israeli premier was holding consultations with top security officials when Trump's remarks became public. Sources cited in media reports said Israel had not been expecting an announcement suggesting a deal was close. The episode has triggered fresh questions about whether US and Israel remain fully aligned on Iran's strategy. Following the reports, Netanyahu's office confirmed that the two leaders discussed the emerging framework for negotiations with Iran. Statement by Israel Prime Minister's office read, and I quote, "President Trump spoke this evening with Prime Minister Netanyahu regarding the emerging Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, with Iran to enter into negotiations. Even though Israel is not a party to the Memorandum of Understanding, the Prime Minister expressed his appreciation for President Trump's commitment that the final agreement at the conclusion of negotiations will include the removal of enriched material, the dismantling of enrichment infrastructure, limits on missile production, and the cessation of Iran's support for its terrorist proxies in the region." Unquote. Israeli leaders remain skeptical of any agreement that allows Iran to retain capabilities they believe could pose a long-term security threat. Despite recent tensions, US and Israel continue to coordinate closely on security issues and share concerns about Iran's regional influence. As Trump pushes for a diplomatic breakthrough, Israeli officials continue to argue that any settlement must address what they see as enduring strategic threats from Tehran. With negotiations gathering pace, the biggest challenge may no longer be the battlefield, but whether US and Israel can stay aligned on how the conflict should end. President Trump says a breakthrough in US-Iran negotiations may be closer than ever, with a possible agreement expected within days. Speaking at the White House, Trump revealed that key documents are being finalized as negotiators work toward a formal deal. Trump insisted that both sides are eager to reach an understanding, describing the current momentum as highly encouraging.
Mr. President, on Iran, how confident are you that there will be a signing this weekend? Because you have come close to sealing a deal, but at the last minute it has fallen apart. And
it'll be soon, maybe this weekend.
And has the Supreme Leader approved this deal, sir?
I understand the answer is yes.
And when this deal is signed, is the United States going to immediately lift the blockade?
Yes, that's true. That's part of the deal.
And
you'll have oil prices dropping like a rock.
But has Iran committed to not pursuing a nuclear weapon, or will there be more negotiations on that down the line?
They will not have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that. There will be no, which is the whole reason, which is a big part of the reason.
Is that going to be in your agreement, sir?
They will not only not have, they will not purchase, develop in any way, any shape, in any way, shape, or form a nuclear weapon. They will not have a nuclear weapon.
But is this just a concept of that agreement when it comes to nuclear? You said this was just a concept of that agreement. So is this just essentially setting the stage for deeper talks on nuclear?
It's a very strong memorandum of understanding. That is a little conceptual, but it's something that's going to get done. And if it doesn't get done for any reason, which I can't imagine that not happening, they want to sign it as much as I do or more. I would say they want to sign it more, maybe a lot more. But it's a very detailed memorandum of understanding, also agreed to by many other countries that have great influence over them, and everybody wants it done. So it's going to get done.
Mr. President, is there a specific amount of time that has to pass between this memorandum of understanding and a final deal being done?
Well, we hope it's going to go relatively quickly, but it's...
Is there a 60 or 90
I mean, the straits are going to open immediately. It's upon signing. Maybe it'll be Saturday or Monday.
Or is there a deadline, though, to get from this to a final deal?
We think it's going to go pretty quickly. I don't want to say a deadline, because if I say a deadline, you'll say, oh, he didn't meet the deadline. You know, this is like, it's not going to matter much because it's going to get signed.
Qatar's leadership has remained actively involved in mediation efforts, holding direct talks with Trump on the proposed agreement. According to Qatar, the framework emerging from negotiations has received broad backing from the key stakeholders involved. Doha praised ongoing diplomatic efforts, expressing hope that a deal could help bring stability back to the region. Donald Trump said Iran's latest missile attack would not derail ongoing U.S. Iran negotiations, according to an interview with the Financial Times. The attack wouldn't have any impact on a deal, Trump told the Financial Times during a telephone interview. Trump also said Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would have no choice but to accept any agreement brokered by Washington. "I call the shots," Trump told the Financial Times, insisting that Netanyahu does not dictate U.S. foreign policy decisions. The comments came after Iran launched a missile barrage against Israel on June 7 to 8, following a dispute over the Lebanon ceasefire. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "We'll see how it ends up. But the missile strikes on Israel, were attacks that did not kick at all. It's one of those things that's been going for 3,000 years, or 47 years, depending on how you count. The deal may make it on its own merit, or not, but this will not have any effect on it." Unlike some of his earlier remarks, Trump stopped short of predicting that a breakthrough with Iran was imminent. "I think the deal is going on," Trump said, while cautioning that developments were still unfolding. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "It means one of two things. Number one, it would mean that possibly we would go in and take care of the rest of the place that we didn't take care of militarily. Or it would just mean that we would keep the blockade on Iran. Because the blockade has been probably more powerful than any attack that was ever made on that country," unquote. The Financial Times interview followed reports of growing tensions between Trump and Netanyahu over regional policy. Axios previously reported a heated phone call in which Trump sharply criticized the Israeli leader. Trump later confirmed that the call took place and did not dispute reports describing the exchange as confrontational. The U.S. president has also faced difficulties enforcing the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire that his administration helped broker. Israel continued conducting strikes in Lebanon despite repeated U.S.-backed efforts aimed at reducing tensions.